Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of Carry On Friends, the Caribbean American experience. And I'm so excited to have this beautiful guest on the podcast. Yes. I met her a few weeks ago walking into a domino game, and the rest is history. Shari, welcome to Carry On Friends. How are you feeling, my darling?
Thank you so much, Carrie. I'm feeling great, actually. I'm excited about this podcast. It's actually my second time being on a podcast. The first one was with someone from St. Lucia, and now this is my first time with someone actually from Jamaica.
All right. So, says vibes, beer
Yeah,
things.
beer
So,
things.
yes. So, let's get into it. Why don't you tell the community of friends a little bit about who you are?
Mhm.
We just kind of give away the Caribbean country, but drop it said way. Caribbean country you represent and a little bit about the work you do.
So my name is Sharie. I am originally from Jamaica, born and raised, and I left Jamaica, came to America to live. First, I went to the UK. So I didn't tell you about that. I lived in the UK for a little bit, didn't like it. Then I moved to New York, and now after being in New York for years, I decided one day out of the blue I wanted to open a business. It has been a dream of mine to open my own business. Just didn't know where, and I I got an opportunity. My sister called me one day and said, "Shari, let's go to Africa." And I pack up my bag and I hopped on the flight. And now, 7 years later, I am a business owner. I opened a spa in Uganda, which is located in East Africa, for those who don't know, and which is very similar to the life we live in Jamaica. Very, very similar. Yeah.
Wow. So, yes, that's why I bring her up on the podcast because, we did talk all these things. So, before we get to that, talk
Mhm.
to me about around what age you left Jamaica to go to UK, specifically like that experience, what you didn't like about it, what you liked
Um,
about it, coming to New York, etc.
yeah. I think I was probably around 18 or around 18 years old, 17, 18. And my intention was to go and stay and live with family. The same way I'm living in New York now, that was my intention originally. And after about 8 months to a year, I don't remember. This was around in 2000, around 2005 ish, four. And I didn't like the weather. My island girl, so island girl, we love sunshine, we love beach, we love all of that kind of thing. I didn't like the weather. It was my first time now having to leave Jamaica and leave my friends and the life that I knew before, and I was willing to make the change. It was still my decision, but it was just a culture shock for me. A lot of things were just different for me in the UK. Didn't like the weather, did not like the average food there. Of course, I cook on my yard. I cooked at home, but I found the experience I had with people there just different. They can be a little standoffish. No offense to the UK people, but we're not very friendly. UK people are not so friendly. um I met some great people there. I had great times. I did love the architecture. I'm very much into arts. Everything about the arts, I'm into it. So whether it's clothing, whether it's beauty, anything about the arts, I love it. So I really love the architecture there. I did love the fashion there, and I'm into fashion, so I really enjoyed that. At the time, I was modeling. I was a model. I was a Pulse model. I was discovered by Pulse International in Jamaica. So I was moving around looking for agencies there in the UK. And after some time, I just realized that, what, this is not for me. And luckily, I had experienced New York prior, and I was like, I feel like New York is home. And I said goodbye to my family, and then I just left. They didn't want me to leave, but I left. I just knew that my heart was not there. And I'm the kind of person that, so once something is here, if I don't get it that way, I'm just not going to be happy. Right. So packed my bags again, left UK, went back home for a little bit, just like probably like 2 weeks or so. And then I went to New York, and I've been here since.
All right. So you've been to New York. What about New York? Because New York different away still,
I
It,
know. But at the
it,
time, I never know, I didn't know. Like, Carrie, you remember the first time you came to New York? you're young, you're excited, everything, big buildings, and even if you came here at 30, this is new to you. New York is like no other place. You
True.
understand? It is like no other place. I at the first time I came, I was still modeling, and I came with my agent at the time, who was Kingsley Cooper, who unfortunately just passed. Rest in peace, Mr. Cooper. He was a very great man, and he brought us up here, and we were, looking for agencies. So usually in the modeling industry, you have a home agent, and which is in your country, and then we will get scouted by other agents in different parts of the world. So you'll end up having sometimes three, four, five agencies. Anyway, um, I loved New York. I'm a vibrant person. So New York gives that. You have to have energy to live in New York.
There's
You know what I mean?
definitely a buzz here. Even when you don't
Yeah.
feel like you want to be buzzed, there's a buzz.
Exactly. It's such a vibrant place, and I feel like it just we just clicked. I just knew, that little voice in your head telling like, oh, this is home, this is it. Whatever it is, that's how I felt. And I said, you know what? I just wanted to be here. I mean, listen, I've always been a very open person. I will try something, and if it doesn't work out for me, it doesn't work out, and I move on to the next thing. So when I came, I felt at home. I hit the ground running immediately. I said, you know what, I need to find my footing here, because I don't really know. I don't know anybody too much. Um, yeah, well, every Jamaican have friends that are family members that live in New York. Every Jamaican have at least one person who live in New York. And I knew my cousin and my aunt, and I stayed with them in Jersey. And then for a short time, and then I just moved into the city by myself, and it's been history since. Like, I haven't moved officially from New York, because I still, even though I have my business there, I still live in New York. So that is a next crazy story. You can imagine my life is crazy.
Listen. We already established, say, you just are going to do a thing and you're good.
Right.
But I think that is why I wanted to have this conversation, because I'm so fascinated by, you know, just you and the movement, and then you're adding the muggling thing and all of these things. So
Yeah.
you're still a New Yorker. You know, give up the New
Right.
York life, and
No.
you're in New York for a little bit. What is happening in New York? What are you doing in New York before a sister call you up and say, "Ring, Sharie, Lego,"
Um
and yeah.
I okay, so when I just came to New York, me a Pitney, young girl, teenager, going into my 20s. And I think I was about 19 at the time when I finally moved in. And I just wanted to get a job. I started in the retail industry, which is so easy here. When you just want one job, so easy here. I started working in retail, and I was doing that for a couple of years, high end retail. So I was like, those designer stores, the Dolce and Gabbanas, and any other brand that you could think of. I was working in a few of them for a couple of years. And I moved from like sales associate up to management eventually. And I kind of stayed. So when I was 12, backstory, when I was 12, I remember distinctly one day I said, I know I want to open my own business. I wasn't sure. I thought I was going to open a fashion business, like a boutique or something. I knew I wanted to open my own business. I didn't know where, I didn't know what type of business exactly, but I knew I wanted to do it. So when I came to New York and I got the opportunity to work in the hospitality industry, I said, you know what? Hmm, all right, so if I'm going to open my own business one day, I need experience. And I said, let me work. I specifically chose to work in retail. And then years after, I chose also the restaurant industry, because corporate life was not for me. I didn't want to, it doesn't matter. I didn't care about them. It wasn't the money part of it, because I knew I was going to open my own business, but I needed the experience. So I wanted the only way you can learn, Carrie, I don't care how you go on YouTube and all these things. The only way you can learn is if you have experience. So I wanted to learn the back end part of both industries, so the restaurant industry and the retail industry. And the reason why I wanted to learn in the restaurant industry part is because I also knew one day I want to open a small, kind of like a mom and pop shop size restaurant. And again, I don't know where, but fast forward to now, I'm in works with doing that right now in Uganda, which makes sense because they love our culture there. So I took the experience. I became manager. I was a manager at the time, and one day my sister called me and she was like, "Oh, because she's married to a Ugandan, and she's been going back and forth there. They live in the UK. They live and met in the UK." And she said, "Sharie, why don't you come to Uganda? I'm gonna open some. A client of mine gave me the idea to open a nail spa because she's a big nail tech. She was in the UK, and while visiting there, someone said to her, "Why don't you open a place here?" And she said, "You know what? Let me do that." And then she called me and said, "Why don't you come?" So I was like, "You know what? I'm gonna have no pitney. I'm not married. Let me go. Now would be the opportune time to go out there and do it." And I never been to Africa before when I went. Never been to Africa before. And within 9 months of that phone call, I was on a plane to Uganda.
Wow. Wow. Yes.
Yes, I know
Yes.
I'm crazy.
No, I don't know. Like you said, it's time, it's where you are at a point in your life and the opportunity. Just like you said, you're single, you know, have no kids. It was the perfect
Right.
time,
It was the
right, to
perfect
do it.
time. Right.
And so let's talk about Uganda, right?
Yeah.
And you already answered a question. Why Uganda? Your brother-in-law is Ugandan. And
Right.
so talk to me about actually the setting up of the business, the culture, how
Whew.
you manage, cause it far, you know, and I
Before.
like you know
Before.
far, it far.
Before.
So so talk to me about that.
All right. So setting up of the business. Now this one is the kicker. Never been to Africa before. Never met a Ugandan before. No, no, nothing. My sister went before me, which was good. So she was looking for initially we were looking for a space together. And when she went there and was looking around, it just wasn't happening. It was not happening. She had a lot of issues finding a space together. She told me one time there's this one lady who she owns a salon over there, as a well-known salon, and she apparently this mall that we wanted to go into, that lady owned a salon in that mall. So apparently she never wants, or she didn't want any competition. We couldn't get the space in that mall, which thankfully, now listen, let me tell you guys something. You see, when sometime when God tell you no, it's not no, is something right.
Not yet.
It's just not yet. You
Hmm.
understand? And or it's not the right space for this is not for you. And I was bummed out. We were bummed out about it because it's a very popular mall. It's still the popular mall in Kampala, which is like the Kingston of Uganda, right? The city. And we didn't get it. Anyway, we decided, you know what, let's open our own spaces. Fine, cool. So she found a mall, and I'm still in New York finishing up my the last leg of my career here. And save all my money and everything, buying all this stuff. Every time I get my paycheck, I was just buying and packing up. My apartment started to look like a warehouse. Right. But it was fine. It was fine. I knew the end goal. So now when she finally got her space, Carrie, I I got the measurements of this the shop. I asked them for the measurements. When I got it, I measured out one of my friends' apartment was around the same size as the shop I was getting at the time. And I asked my friend, I said, "Hey, can I come over to your house and just do some marking out and some stuff?" And him say, "Yeah, okay." And I went go all the way to Brooklyn, went to his house, and I started to map out, bring tape, map out how I drew on paper because I'm a very good artist. So I drew on paper how I wanted to, how I wanted. I basically did all the decor for my shop. I knew what I wanted it to look like. I wanted it to be very girly and pretty and beautiful. Even though it was a store space, and like even in a mall, you expect a store to just look like a store. I wanted it to look fancy, right? So I marked out everything that I wanted. The space, I knew how much space I had, what I could put where, the measurements of the couch. I started to get things made, all of that stuff. And when my sister showed my sister the art, the drawing on the paper, she was like, Sharie, where you put all of them something here? Like this can't fit. Sharie, the space too small. All these things. I'm gonna say it's gonna fit. Mind you, I've never been to the space. She's there. She's in the space. And I said, don't worry, it's gonna fit.
Mm-hmm.
And I put everything on paper, got it done, and then after that I decided I bought everything and shipped everything to Uganda. The day before I left, I had I had the worst bubble guts ever. And I was so worried. I was like, oh my God, why am I have bubble guts now? Why am I have, basically bubble guts, for all who don't understand, it's basically like diarrhea, right? But my mom said to me, you need to relax. It's just nerves. I call you nervous. Why this happened to you? And it was true, because I was starting to question myself, like, what am I doing? Who do you think you are? Why are you doing this? You never even been to Africa before. What if you don't fit in? I had so many questions 24 hours before going to this trip. Anyway, I went. The flight, for those who have never been to East Africa, Uganda specifically, it is around 21 hours to get to.
Here what me go say. Blood fire posse.
Listen, this trip is not for the weak. It's not
Mm.
for the weak. So I flew Emirates Airlines, and I've been flying them since. Emirates and Qatar, the two airlines I trust to go there, and especially because I always have products for my business. And I packed up all my bags, flew there. So it's a 14 and a half hour trip from here to Dubai with Emirates, and then I transferred to another plane, and the flight from Dubai to Uganda is 5.5 hours. Yeah, and when I got there, my sister picked me up and stuff, and it was just magical for me. I felt like a kid in a kind of, from the ride from the airport to the house. When the dog are driving in the car and them head through the window,
Yeah.
that was
That was you taking
that
in the
was me. I
breeze.
was just, I'm like, I'm in Africa. It was so magical, Carrie. Like, this is something I wish every Caribbean person could experience, going back home to the motherland.
Listen, when you said 21, me go say, before the recording start, me say, Shari, when me I come with you go Uganda, but when you said 21, me go, irks. Well, on dear, 21, how hers? But,
Mm-hmm.
by you talking about it, and of course everyone there at the meetup that we had, just hearing your experience, I was just like really fascinated that one, not only that you started this business, but the recurring theme with those who went to East Africa specifically, because we know West Africa with
Yeah.
Nigeria and Ghana, we
Right.
know what that is. But when you all were talking about the East African countries, particularly Uganda and Kenya, and
Mm-hmm.
you all were sharing how much love they have for the culture and
Mm-hmm.
everything, it was like almost like, yo, this feel like Jamaica back in the day, but
Right.
better, that type of way
Right.
that you're talking. So you reach, you excite. What happened next? Tell me. More hear the story.
All right. So now I'm in Uganda, and the first thing is, so my sister had secured, remember, she lives in the UK, so she had to move just like I had to move, but she just went before me. She opened her business, the same procedure I went through, she went through the same thing for her business, right? Shipping stuff, all of them, something. So now she got an apartment for us to stay in, and she got a 3 bedroom apartment, very nice place. And now it's time to get my furniture made. So they're just like Jamaica, they have like local carpenters and stuff, and obviously it is way cheaper. So you know how we buy bed over here for $800, $1,000, $1,500. No, you can get a couple pieces of furniture made for like $500, like couple pieces of furniture. So started the carpentry because again I knew from before what I wanted and the size of the things that I needed. Started the work, and then it took why. Let me tell you, this was when Uganda showed me Uganda. It's when somebody in Uganda tell you say 2 weeks, just know you have around 3 months. Okay? We can laugh now. You guys, I can laugh now, but just know I got into it with the carpenter like several times. I got into it. One time I show up at the man's shop, pissed early in the morning. I showed up at his shop like, cause I had an open date. I arrived in Uganda like June, I think June 7th or 17th, one of those 7 days, 7 numbers. And my initial plan was to open at least no later than 2 to 3 weeks after arriving, right? Setting up everything, whatever. The carpenter told me 2 weeks for everything to be done, right? And you know when I opened? August 17th, August 18th,
Lord
which
Jesus.
last Sunday, August 18th, was my 7th year anniversary.
Congratulations. Purr, purr,
Thank
purr,
you.
purr.
Thank you. But yeah, it was not fun. I will not lie to you. It was not fun. The carpenter was taking long. I got the space painted and stuff. When the carpenter did come in and was fitting stuff in, the man used pen. What carpenter uses pen? On my
A
painted
pencil.
wall, Harry, I was stressed when I tell you, and I'm not used to this because I'm just like, what is wrong with you? On top of that, you know about colored people time. You know, black people have them time.
Mm-hmm.
In Uganda, there's a different time. This is the king of lateness.
Mm.
If you tell someone to meet you at 1 o'clock, please be advised you only have two options. Either I'm gonna reach hours later or none at all.
My word.
Yes, that is the whole truth and nothing but the truth. Please know you are there before them. And I'm a very timely person.
Yes.
So I was hiring like electricians and stuff, to make sockets in the space. I was hiring electricians, I was hiring carpenters, painters, all that stuff. And no matter how I tell people, please come at 7 in the morning so we can get the job done in one day. I don't want anything to be a 3, 4, 5 day process. People are show up 11 o'clock in the morning and stuff, and at the time, because I don't know anybody, it's not like here that you know that, okay, if you hire a company and they don't show up, you can just, all right, whatever, you are canceled, you find somebody else to replace them quickly. you know
You're
Everything is,
learning the place.
I mean, I learn, you know what I mean. I used to get very frustrated. I was getting very frustrated because I'm not, like, my plan was, okay, cool, yes, I'm go there with money because obviously you have to plan this in order to go. But I don't want to keep spending my money without making money. You understand? Um, I don't have no rich parents and I have no sugar daddy. It's just me and the money that I saved myself. And I went with it. So eventually, finally, after a couple threats, a couple choice words,
You're gonna go bad up the people and say,
right,
Oi.
as I
Let
should. Right, as I should. I definitely did. Like they even the man thought, and they're very, so Ugandans are very mild mannered people,
Mm-hmm.
very, very, very. They're not confrontational at all, right?
Mm-hmm.
So
I will bring the Jamaican beaches.
yes,
Ignorant, cross, hangry. Me,
let me
he's
tell
a
you.
rebel.
Listen, they're not used to that. They legit think you're crazy.
Mm.
Yeah, they think you're crazy. So after the whole, process, I finally got to open August 18th in 2017. And I was scared. So I had newspapers on the glass of the store, they like the display window. Carrie, I was so scared to rip the newspaper. I don't know why, because I know everybody was looking, everybody else, because I have shop neighbors and stuff. And I didn't really talk to anybody. That's another thing. Ugandans, when you go to Uganda, please be advised that Ugandans like to stare. They don't speak. They know that you don't understand. This is something you're gonna have to get used to. Carrie, they
Listen,
stare.
listen, this reminds me. So, of course, I grew up in Jamaica. And
Right.
like when you look a pit in a primary school, you remember what them used to say when you look at them while
Uh,
you're steering and not
yes, and not
driving.
driving. Right. Well, there, and in America, when someone is staring at you, um, when you look, they will probably like look away and stuff.
Yeah.
Mm-mm, mm-mm. They still a look. See here?
Mm.
They still a look. So anyway, I was scared to open. I just took it. My sister came downstairs. She said, "Sharie, you not take off the newspaper yet?" She was to me, huh? Everybody was looking. Everybody, all the girls, that open, that has shop next door, they might look because they never see anything like it before. Usually a store look like a store. Mine was just girly. I had like, so because um I specialize in eyelash extensions. I don't know if you know about microblading or any PMU service, right? So I do semi-permanent eyebrows, lip blush, um hair, wigs. At the time I wasn't doing braiding, I was specializing in just wigs, so like hair extensions, wigs, that kind of stuff, and hairstyling. I sell products, so I brought products from the US, so like nice hair care products for natural hair and all hair types, that kind of stuff. um, there's a bed that I use to, so I wanted privacy for my clients. The shop was small, right? And I didn't want when someone is getting their eyelashes done, I feel like your old privacy because your eyes closed. You know what I mean? So where the bed is, I put up like a curtain, and if no one is on the bed, then the curtain is kind of like draped, kind of like how you sit on stage. And then when someone is there, the curtain is closed. So everyone, the curtain is like draped now. Everyone is seeing. My favorite color is any shade of purple. I love lilac. So the shop
My
is like,
girl, my
it's
girl.
yours.
Yes, listen, purple and a little lilac, lavender, anything
Yes.
in that.
Oh my gosh. I absolutely, that is my happy color. That is my peaceful color. I love me a lilac. So
Mm.
I painted my shop. My company color is lilac, right? My business cards, the logo, everything, you will find lilac in there. So everybody was looking. So now people started to come across, and people came downstairs. Hi, can I come inside your shop and look? And they will look. I had a swing in the window, display window, with on the mannequin was on the swing, or her hair done. She was wearing a shirt from my company, and it was just really cute. Exactly how I imagined it. That's exactly how it came out, and I was very happy. I cried a little bit. I was just like, "Oh my god!" Like I was still like, "What am I doing? What am I doing here?" It was a shock. You know what I mean? Um, then I didn't have a launch party or anything. I don't know nobody. I didn't know anybody. It was just my sister at the time and her husband. And I just said, let me just do this. People started to come and, ask questions and stuff. And that's when August 18th, 2017 was the day I just started taking clients and starting now. This is where the wheel started to turn now, when we start learn about Ugandans and how to deal with them.
Uh,
Crazy.
so before we get into that, a bit of logistics, cause me that's how
Mm-hmm.
my brain works. So
Mm-hmm.
you go. I mean, we talk about going to Uganda, but there's a lot of things involved, like how you get into the country. Jamaican passport. All of this. You need the visa.
Right.
Work permit. You can't just show up in the country and
Whew.
decide say you go work. So a little bit on that. Me like a story
Um,
time, yeah.
all right. So going to Uganda, if you're going to Uganda, if you ever plan to go to Uganda, you need to have a yellow fever vaccine. And in New York, if you have, I'm not, if you don't have insurance, that vaccine can run you at the time, around $300. Yes, ma'am. That vaccine can run you around $300 if you don't have insurance. However, I think I'm hearing that insurance doesn't cover it. I'm not sure. I'm not sure. I think someone said it, but I'm not sure. Don't quote me on that. But
Okay.
I would hope so. So anyway, I had to get the yellow fever vaccine, I did that. Now Ugandans, and because of CARICOM, you are allowed as a Jamaican with a Jamaican passport to enter the country, and you cannot stay. But the only drawback is you cannot stay longer than 3 months if you're visiting. You understand? Like you can't stay, so you can enter visa free, no problem. You just cannot stay longer than 3 months, which is fine. I mean, that's fine. Um, so that part was taken care of. When you get to the airport, you have no issues. Sometimes some of the custom officers, they don't. I'm not sure why they don't know this, but they'll ask you like, oh, about your visa. I'm like, no, I don't need a visa. It's a Jamaican passport, and they look it up and then they say, okay, cool. So you have no issues getting in once you show the yellow fever vaccine, if you have a Jamaican passport. However, if you are a U.S. Citizen, you have a U.S. passport, you do need a visa. At the time, not sure now, you could get your visa upon arrival, right? And I think it was like 70 to $100 for the visa. Don't know the length of time and all that stuff. I don't know that part because I use my Jamaican
Of course, you use
passport,
your Jamaican
right?
passport.
So I don't know that part, but again, it was a smooth enough process, nothing crazy, but you cannot enter without the yellow fever card. Now, some people entered and they didn't have it, so then they provided in the airport. I would not be caught dead or alive getting a yellow fever vaccine in the airport. To me, that not sound kosher. Me no know. I don't, I'm sorry. They're
Mm-mm,
not gonna send me back. They're never gonna
mm-mm.
send me back another 21 hours back. Like, no,
Mhm.
I refuse. So me, I'm a very detailed person. I make sure, listen, Carrie, if you say, Sharie, I'm inviting you to Long Island, for example, and you tell me a specific place, I'm going to do my research. I'm going to find out where I'm going. What is the dress code at the place? What are the rules at the place? Like, I'm a very detailed person, and I make sure I did all, because me not like embarrassment. That's one. I don't, no, 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 no. I don't want to be turned back. I just don't want to be inconvenienced in any way, shape, or form, because that's a really long trip. You know what I mean? And I already invested so much time and money into this. I had to go to the extra mile. Um, then the initial, what else did you ask? You said,
The work, cause
the
you
work,
you 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 obviously stay past the
work
3 months,
permit.
so oh, you get the work permit
Oh
and
yeah,
thing.
so I have a lawyer. I got a lawyer, and I just let him deal with I told him what I wanted to do, all that stuff. It is not it is not like a very smooth process. It's not too hard, but it's not smooth. It bumpy. And it is costly. It is very costly, my darling.
Me can't I Jean.
It is very costly. Yeah, I shelled out, and it does have expiration, so you have to renew sometime over a couple of years, depending on which one you get. So they do have different ones that you can look into. All this information honestly is online, so for anybody that is watching and is interested, and this doesn't only go for Uganda, right? I have other friends that have businesses in different parts of Africa, Ivory Coast, Senegal, Ghana, and Nigeria, and it's almost the same process. So they have different visas and stuff. So my lawyer dealt with it. I paid that person. They dealt with it and helped me to get the things that I needed to to be safe. Um, and that's it. They just show you. You know how in Jamaica you have to pay like your taxes, just like here. You have we have a place called KCCA. They are in charge. They will go around like every January, or sometimes they'll come around earlier in the year, later in the year, sorry. And they will just check businesses to see if you have your proper licenses and stuff, which you can just put it up in your business space and you're good. So I don't really I've never really had any issues with that. Sometimes them try to come and, them want little money if you don't have your right things. But I never pay anybody to. I'm not going to take on that habit. You see, I feel like it is not the best idea. It's not the smartest idea Once you open that door, it is open, right?
Can't lock it back.
Right.
Mm.
One thing I did experience is while creating that shop space, while doing the decor and stuff, but right before opening, I realized that men in Uganda automatically think that when there's a business, a man is involved. A man is involved. So they'll come and ask, where is the boss? Where is your husband? Where is that's the kind of talk them come with. And I'll always ask why. I don't understand why you why you feel like there's a man involved. They truth is the truth, they do undermine women. The men, most of the men there undermine women. And it's like, especially if you're a young girl, they think, oh, there's no way you have money to do this. One man must involve, one sugar daddy or something must involve, or your father give you the money. There's no way me did work. God forbid me did work hard. So those are some cons of something. I'm glad I learned it early though. I learned it early. And as you can imagine, I'm an alpha female. It's not something I talk about all the time or whatever. If you meet me, I have a strong personality, and that kind of behavior don't sit well with me, because I know I work hard. And just to hear somebody undermine me and be like, oh, where's your husband? Or you're just a woman. And if I hire a man to do a job like an electrician or somebody, they not take me seriously until me unleash the B word. They don't take you seriously, Kerry. Yeah, that is another con. Yeah, trust me, I've changed. I've changed. Yeah.
Wow.
Mhm.
Wow.
Mhm.
Well, thanks for sharing that. And so
Mhm.
now you're celebrating 7 years. I take it you're in a big and different space by
Yes,
now.
ma'am. Yes,
So,
ma'am.
yeah, tell me, cliff notes of how the seven
Okay.
years has been going and,
Right.
all these things. Me love a story here.
All right. So, uh, whew, first things first. It was my first business, and I was learning while the business is growing. Never opened a space before, and luckily, I took all those years of training, living in America, in New York specifically, and working in the retail and restaurant space. So I knew the back end and how to handle books and all of them, something there. Because you see, Carrie, one thing is you learn these things. I did POB in school and stuff. I did cool, cute, but there's nothing greater than experience, right? So I started to get
One second,
clients.
one
Yeah.
second. So, audience, POB is principle of business. It is a subject that
Yeah.
Jamaican kids you take, and maybe other
Yeah.
places in the Caribbean, but I don't
Yeah.
know. So, Jamaicans, we just want to say there's a POB. What that? Principle of business is essentially a business class that you get to select this class in your 10th grade year, right? Before your our CXC, whichever, something like that. But yes, go
Right.
on.
Right. So I started to learn with the business. I started to, implement certain rules and stuff, things that would help my business grow each day. I've made a couple mistakes over the years, obviously. Now people didn't really like was happy that I was there. Microblading at the time was not as popular. Even in America, it was still just starting to get a buzz. So in Uganda, it was just non existent at the time. So I was the first person to bring microblading to Uganda. So people were asking, like, what is that? Like, oh, you draw eyebrows? Like, what is it? So I took time. I said, you know what? This is the perfect way to market my business. So even though I did other services, I mostly advertised that one because it was so new to the country. I made sure to just capitalize off that, right? Um, I got popular very quickly, very very quickly, and I started to grow, and I was so invested. I became obsessed. Like when I tell you, You guys won't believe this, but I think the first time I took a break from work was when I got sick. So my body forced me to take a break. I got sick. To this day, I don't know what happened to me. I got really, really sick. I never took a day off. I never felt like, you know, that saying, I know you guys might think this sound cliche. It is not. I promise you it is not. You know, when I say when you do what you love, you will never work a day in your life. It is 100% the truth. I never got up one day, even if I had to work 7 days in a row. There was never a morning I got up and be like, oh, I forgot work. I gotta go to work. No, I never felt like that. Not one day. I was happy every single day. Yes, trials came, tribulations came. Yes, I'm not saying that did not happen, but I was happy. I was happy I was doing what I felt like God called me to do. I was meeting women, and part of the reason why I opened this business also was I wanted to give back to women. I wanted to be a voice. I wanted to be an example to women. I didn't have a lot of that growing up. I have my mom and I have one auntie that is my dearest, dearest love. Love her so much. Sharnette Robinson, big up yourself. To that was an example to me, and I wanted to be that example to other young women, you know, women on a whole, but specifically young women, to show them that, you know, you can do this. You don't need to do certain things in order to get ahead in life and stuff. So I I'm gonna share this with you guys. I prayed one day and I asked God, I realized that I realized my purpose on earth, and that is to help other people. And if you can allow me to help to do your work but also do my work, I would be very happy. I would be very happy. And the stars aligned. I'm doing my work. And what does my work entail? Meeting women. I am so happy. And I can tell you that I've had I've had very tearful moments with clients. I've had women who their partners, they'll tell me, "Oh, I need a makeover. Um my husband hasn't looked at me in a while," or if they're not married, things like, I feel old, or I'm too fat, or I don't feel like I don't look good, I don't feel good in myself, I don't feel confident. And I remember when I was young, like, I think I would assume that every young woman has felt that way at some point. You're too skinny, your head too big. I have a big forehead. I used to get
I was about to say the forehead. When I saw you as a man, the girl, I could have cousin, cause we on the forehead. The forehead.
honey.
Listen,
Let
growing
me
up, my mother would say, listen, the forehead reach before you.
Honey, let me tell you, my forehead was teased properly in school, right? I was very skinny, like you could have catch water in your saw.
Yeah.
Yeah?
My
You could have
grandmother
catch
used to
water in
put
your
her
saw.
hand in there, so lad, your collarbone.
Trong. Right. So catch water for my non-Caribbean people who don't understand. When I say water could have catch us up, means that you're so skinny. You know that sinkhole because you're so skinny. You can pour
Mhm.
water in there and it stayed. That was me. So I used to get teased a lot in school. Then I had very bold legs. Oh my god, my legs were so bold. I used to get teased for that as well. So I was skinny, my head big, my forehead big. Like I was just being teased, right? And I decided, that's when I said, you know what? My self-esteem was low. And then I said, you know what? Get older. I got more confident. Now I'm at this level where you can't tell me nothing. Like, me not even listen to you. You just go heal. That's my response to you. Me not even go tell you, say, you're head big too. Go and heal, my good sister. Go and heal. Right? So so all these stories that I hear, the most rewarding thing for me during this business is the money is always going to be nice, but I can tell you this, when a client look in the mirror and say, "Oh my God," or they hug me, or they cry and they tell me their story and tell me how, "Oh my God, I feel like a new person," or "My partner hasn't looked at me in years," or whatever the sad story is, it is the most rewarding thing. You hear me? It's been 7 years and it always feel like the first time. Every time it happens, Sometimes I find myself cry and I have to go off to the side and just gather myself and then come back. I've cried many tears. I've sent my assistant out sometime like, hey, can you give us a minute? And send them out and me and the clients in at the shop a ball. Cry. So I'm happy that God put me in this space to be like, okay, Sharie, you're doing what you want to do, but you're also ministering in a way to women, you know?
Yeah.
And it hasn't been easy. It hasn't been easy. I've met some nasty people. I've met some nasty people. Some people who I just know that you need to heal. Yeah, you deal with something inside because there's no way you're that ugly. There's no way, and I try earlier when I was much younger. I used to judge people heavily, like, oh Lord God, why is this? And my sister, I used to judge. I think we're all in the same boat. But now I look at things differently. I ask myself, I'm interested to know what you went through, why you're like this, you know but yeah, so I've now gotten to a space 7 years later, where I'm well known over there. It's easy over there. It's so interesting. They like to call people celebs or socialites. You know what I mean? And I guess I'm one of those two. It doesn't matter to me. I don't like those kind of title. I'm a very private person, so that was a big challenge for me. I'm a very private person. I like a very quiet, humble life. I like only the people that are in my circle, them alone. I like to know my business and whatever else. I don't like being in the limelight per se. So that was a challenge for me in the beginning because I didn't know if I wanted to market myself as the owner of the business. But then I had to give myself that pep talk, like, Sharie, you're gonna have to be a brand. If you want this to be a business that you can carry on, even if you decide to give up 3 years later, right now this is what you have. You're gonna have to be your own brand. And I just changed my marketing game, and now I push me out. Yeah.
I have a question really quick. Just
Hmm.
so what happened during the COVID? Because me know COVID in America. What was COVID in Uganda?
You know what? I don't want to say that word. covid was a time COVID was a time.
Mm,
Uganda, it wasn't as bad. It wasn't as bad in the beginning. Then I think we got, like, after a certain time we got like 40 something thousand cases. Uganda, by the way, ladies and gentlemen, has a population of 45 million people. Uganda is huge,
yeah.
right? So 44,000, 50,000, 60. Like, when COVID was dying down, that's when the numbers kind of, like, you're like, I don't know how much it got to, but maybe like 760, around there.
Mm-hmm.
Um, we were in lockdown. The president had, I was stuck in Uganda, by the way, from March till I didn't come back to New York till the January. Almost a year I couldn't come back. The airport was closed. We went through 3 phases of lockdown. The airport was closed. The president decided that no salons or anything could be open. So you know what I did? For the first month or two, I think, you couldn't drive cars around. You had to be like a military person, doctor, that kind of thing. People that will go work, or walk to the market, walk to the supermarket, whatever. Girl, one day I walked from my house, which luckily I don't live crazy far from work. It's a little journey, but not crazy far. And I had to walk from home to go to my shop to pack up the shop, pack up products, everything, because I decided that I'm going to start operating from my home. So I opened up the downstairs, and at the time I lived in this really cute house. It was a 1 bedroom house, and it's in a nice private compound. When you open the front door, there's like, it opens up to a garden. So I was like, this would be the perfect, scenic space for my spa. So I got the products and packed it up, and everything. I was making a lot of money during that time. People don't know in Uganda, by the way, people women don't really know how to do their own hair. So you'll find that a lot of them have shaved their hair, like, short, like men type hairstyles and stuff, or they wear braids a lot, or any kind of extensions. They don't know how to really do their hair. Very beautiful women, but they're just not skilled in that department, which is okay, right? So
Mhm.
I was busy, and
Mm.
unfortunately, my assistant, she lived very far away. She could not come to work, so it was just me at the house, and I was booked every single day from morning straight back. And on top of that, I was doing deliveries for the products that I sold in the shop. So me, I handle clients, I work on clients, and in between that, I answer the phone. Hi, thank you for calling Sharie Beauty. Oh yeah, I want a delivery. I want this and that. So pack the bag, leave the client, pack the bags, send it off with the delivery person and stuff. I was making money. I was making money. I sold out everything out of my shop, right? But the lockdown for me wasn't as intense as it was, unfortunately, for New Yorkers. And I am happy though that I wasn't in New York because I'm asthmatic, so it wouldn't work out for me at all. But it was much better in Uganda. It was much better in Uganda. I'm not gonna lie to you. But business wise, it was successful. Thank God. I think one of my biggest flex is that I survived COVID, and I'm so grateful to God, Kerry, because so many big businesses, big brands, we know, very big businesses closed down. People lost their jobs and stuff. And at the time before I started to make money during COVID, I wasn't making anything for like 2 months, but I still decided to pay my staff. I still decided to pay my staff because they don't have money, you know what I mean? And even though I wasn't making any, I still was able to pay my rent and stuff, pay my bills and thing. Was I worried? Yes, I was a little bit worried because I wasn't sure what was going on. Are we all gonna die? Am I gonna get through this? But here we are, 7 years later, and a couple years after COVID, surviving.
Congratulations. I mean, I'm just loving the story because I mean, it's just amazing the experiences that we have and we could share even on on a different continent. There's some through line in the experiences different people are having,
Yeah.
but I'm glad that no, me know somebody at Uganda, me can flex say, yeah, me know oh yes.
You have to visit. You have to don't
Yes,
pay attention to the time. You have to visit.
No, 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 for real, for real. We talk about that off the air, but no, I
Right.
want to, as we start to wrap up. I mean, what is what is the experience in terms of, we didn't get too much into this Jamaican culture. How is that in Uganda? How are you able
Ooh.
to, how is that, and how are you able to just kind of move around?
Listen, I learned when I just got there, I realized I used to hear a lot of, party I keep your hear dancehall reggae music. And I used to say, huh, it's okay, cool. That's cool. Jamaica, a very popular country. And one day I was in a Uber, because Uber is there, by the way. And the driver turned on the radio and it was playing some kind of dancehall music. I don't remember it's who. And I said, driver, do you guys play a lot of Jamaican music here? And he said, oh, we love Jamaica. We love Jamaica here. So I was like, huh. I said, I'm Jamaican. You people. The man stopped the car. He pulled over, stopped the car. I was so scared because I was like, what the hell did I say? Like, I was like, Sharie, what did you say? The man turned around. He's like, are you Jamaican? I was like, yeah. He's like, Wagwan. He was so happy. He was so happy. He started asking me the usual question. If I know Usain Bolt, if I know if I knew about Bob Marley, he was asking me the typical questions that non-Jamaicans ask. He was so happy. He asked me if that's how we really dance. No, he's talking about the dance hall where then jump off of the
Oh,
speaker
oh,
box
he
and
was talking the dagger in.
Right. So it was such a after the man dropped me home, he stood at my gate and that man came out of the car, sat down with me, and he was just listening to me talk. He was so fascinated. It's like he is almost like the man met a celebrity.
Mm.
Ugandans are very, very open to Jamaicans. They love the music. Right now, sometimes I hear some music, Ugandan music, and I'm like, oh, is this a Jamaican song? Or they love patois. When I tell clients, oh, I'm Jamaican, they're like, you're Jamaican? can you tell me patois? And I have to talk to them in patois. They love it. I introduced some of my clients and my sister's family in-laws to Jamaican food, and they loved it because our
Mm,
foods are very similar. Our foods are similar, like stewed chicken, and they have their own version. Um, we have patty. They have samosa. They call it samosas. It which
mhm.
look like what do you call that thing that the
Empanadas?
empanadas.
Yeah.
They look just like empanadas. And I
Yeah,
find
it's
that
just
so
our patties
interesting.
are flat and theirs is a
Exactly.
little puffed.
Right. So we bake
Mhm.
ours, they fry theirs,
Yeah.
basically, right? Um, they have this thing called luombo, which is just a stew. Like how we put food in banana leaf and stuff, they do the same thing.
Mhm.
Them eat the same food like we they have. They're surprised when I tell them we have watermelon, papaya, all of those things. They have everything there. But I promise you, they love Jamaica. So I've been having no issues. I have no issues like moving around there, or there's not too much culture shock. As a Jamaican,
Right.
right? And I
W-
found my people there as well.
Wonderful. Jamaica's everywhere.
Enough, enough. They're everywhere, right?
So, what are you looking forward to as we wrap up? Because clearly we can't talk forever, but
I
Sharia, you have to
know.
come back again. But what are you looking forward to, in this next chapter of, your life and business? What's next for you?
Uh, I want to, so I expanded the business. Like I got a new space at some point. 2 years ago, I got a new space, a bigger space. In Uganda, it is very popular to rent a house to turn it into a business, right? Or buy a house and turn it into a business, whichever you prefer. I did that because I wanted, they love privacy over there. So I said, this makes sense. So I did just that. So the space is big enough now. My plan is to just kind of capitalize on the space I have and the fact that they love um, Jamaica so much that adding food to it, because you ever did a spa, or at the salon the whole day, you do
You
hair,
want a little
you do this,
food
you're
because you're
hungry,
hungry.
you're hungry bad. So instead of me sending my staff out to go buy food, in different places, like, you know what, let me just incorporate it here. So that is my plan. It's already in the works, and hopefully I can get it done by the end of the year. I'm in New York now, and I'm gonna be here for a little bit because I want to get some stuff shipped in and just make plans. I do have other business ventures that I want to get into, and I'm starting those now. And hopefully, within the next, by the end of the year into early 2025, I can get those done. I don't want to limit myself ever. I don't believe in that. I feel like we're humans are very magical beings, and you can, if you stop doing what you want to do, if you stop dreaming, if you stop aspiring, then you just limit yourself. I don't want to do that, right? So the spa, I don't wish to open another location right now. I want to do other things. If the stars align and all those things can happen at once, amazing. But right now, I want to open the food part. That's the only expansion I want to do onto the business, and then also get into other business ventures.
Wonderful. I mean, Shari, this was a magical trip. Like, like a story from beginning to end, from Jamaica to UK to Uganda, and you're giving us a little bit. And I just love that me know somebody who's Jamaican and living in Uganda and is running a business. And that is the beauty of community, right? Because I
Yeah,
met you through someone, and
right,
it's just how we
right.
continue to build and connect. And I'm sure someone's listening to this who are just like, I've been meaning to travel, I've been meaning to go somewhere, and now they know someone
Mm-mm.
in another country. So
You
I
should.
really thank you for just coming on, sharing your experience. Love, love, love that
Thank
I'm
you.
now connected with you. And congrats on everything. 7 years,
Thank you.
is a long time, and I'm excited for you. I'm super happy for you. So big up yourself.
Thank you, darling.
So why don't you tell the community of friends a little bit about where they could find you, connect with you, and know about all the things where you're going with?
Yeah, so my Ugandan business page is at Sharie Beauty. So this is on Instagram and also on TikTok, Sharie Beauty. And it's SHARIRICHI Beauty. Also, you can find me my personal page, which is just me doing the branding on myself. You get to know me personally outside of my business. It's on Instagram or on TikTok at Sharie Richies, SHARIRICHI, and hopefully I get to connect with you. Ask me questions. I'm very open. If you need advice, if you know, even if it's not about Uganda, like in terms of maybe you want to open another business or something in the same field as I am, I'm into beauty, I'm also into fashion. Ask me questions. Or maybe you're just a woman that want to talk. I talk to men too. um but just behave, please. But yeah, if you just want to talk, if you need advice on how to move forward with certain things, I'm a very open person. I'm nice. I might look mean sometimes, but me no mean, me no bites.
The face, we come with it. Me know the
Right,
vibes. Me know the vibes.
right,
The foreign do it. The
right,
foreign.
right. The
Well,
forehead.
Shari, thank you. Thank you so much for being on the podcast. Thank you again for just coming. And whenever you're ready for comeback,
Yes, ma'am.
just WhatsApp me. You
Thank,
don't know the thing. So, as
thank
I
you for
love to,
having me.
of course, of course. And as I love to say at the end of every episode, walk good.
Thank you, darling.